That's my Arnold impersonation for this movie. I don't even have to say anything. I just have to do that. Anyway, hey there guys, what's up? It's Autobot Mike 18 here with another movie review. Guys, the summer movie season continues. We're now in July, and I'm going to be reviewing a movie that I think if I did a poll online and asked how many people are looking forward to this movie, I think the number of no's would have severely outweighed the number of yeses. With that said, guys, I'm going to be reviewing the newest installment in the long-living Terminator franchise, and that is Terminator Genisys. That's right, guys. Terminator Genisys is the 5th film in the Terminator franchise that started all the way back in 1984 with the release of James Cameron's first Terminator. We then had Terminator 2 Judgment Day in 1991, Terminator 3 in 2003, and finally Terminator Salvation in 2009. It's been 6 years since our last Terminator movie, if you even consider Terminator Salvation as a Terminator movie. I don't, but let's roll with it. And now we have Terminator Genisys, and taking over the reins, or taking over the seat in the director's chair, is director Alan Taylor, who is directing this installment. We have Arnold Schwarzenegger back, and I think some people were looking forward to this movie. But as I said earlier, I think the majority of people were just like, why are we getting another Terminator movie? Oh, the trailer, they're spoiling everything in the movie. What's going on here? I think that's ultimately what most people, that was the general opinion going into this movie. And I myself had never watched a Terminator movie until this month. So I caught up on all 4 movies, and now here I am to give you my thoughts on Genisys. I'll quickly sum up my thoughts on the first 4 movies right after I explain the plot behind Terminator Genisys. Okay, guys, so basically Genisys is set... here's the thing. The chronological order is entirely messed up with these movies. Terminator Genisys is essentially set after Terminator Salvation. However, in this movie's logic, Terminator Salvation and Terminator 3 don't exist. So this is essentially a sequel to Terminator 2. It's set in the future in the year 2029, where we have Resistance leader John Connor in this movie, played by Jason Clarke. He is still fighting Skynet along with his Resistance troops, and they're still trying to get the better hand of Skynet and the machines. And beginning of this movie, they managed to gain access to the time machine that's able to send Terminators, or people in that case, back in time to whatever time period. And it is at this point John Connor decides to send one of his best soldiers, Kyle Reese, played by Courtney. Yes, Courtney, and decides to send him back to the year 1984 to protect Sarah Connor, who in this movie is played by Emilia Clarke. As we all know, these are the events of the first Terminator movie. So this is Kyle Reese's mission. The machines have already sent a T-800 to go after Sarah Connor. So Kyle Reese is sent back in time, and when he arrives in 1984, he discovers that the timelines are all messed up. Sarah Connor already knows that a Terminator was coming after her. She is now, living it up with another T-800 in this movie, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's up to them to basically stop Skynet, or Genisys in this movie, as I should say, before it takes over the world. And that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to say more like the trailers did, because they basically gave away the entire movie within 3 minutes. Thanks, trailers. Anyway, guys, so yes, that's basically the plot of Terminator Genisys, and I know that, it sounds just like a complete ripoff of the first Terminator, and it is, essentially. It is the first Terminator. They even recreated scenes from the first Terminator movie in this movie, but the whole different spin on this movie is that it's a completely alternate timeline, and different things are happening from the first Terminator. So that's your movie, guys. Now, I'm going to put the poster down for a second and just briefly give my thoughts on the entire Terminator anthology, because I feel it's necessary, because these are the first 4 Terminator movies. Now, I bought this like 3 weeks ago, and I binge-watched all 4 Terminator movies just so I can watch Genisys. That's right, I had never seen a Terminator movie until 3 weeks ago. I watched the first 2, and then just a couple days ago, I watched 3 and 4, and now, as you all know, as the majority, the wide opinion is on these movies, 2 is the best one. I just did an old movie review for it. It's also one of the best action films ever made. Just saying. Terminator 1 is my second favorite. Then Terminator 3 is going to take the slight edge over Terminator 4, which are both two disappointing movies. In the end, in my opinion, Terminator Salvation, as I said, it just didn't even feel like a Terminator movie. I don't even know why they called that Terminator Salvation. They should have just called it Salvation. And then Terminator 3 just had dumb characters and just stupid conveniences, and it just felt like a carbon copy of 2. And so that's how I feel about the series. 1 and 2, though, are just untouchable. Like, I don't think they will ever make a Terminator movie that will be better than Terminator 2, or Terminator 1 for that matter. So after I had watched all 4, and then I rewatched the trailers, and I said, okay, yeah, this movie's not going to be, it looks like they're just giving everything away, and it doesn't look as promising as the first 2 Terminator movies. And it won't take a detective to figure out that is the absolute truth, because after you get out of Terminator Genisys, you are going to say to yourself, okay, this movie is not even close to the greatness of 1 and 2. It is just a mess. The timeline's all freaking screwed up. Courtney ruined this like he ruined Die Hard. That's what everyone's going to say. And yes, this movie does have all of those problems and a couple others. That being said, though, I think this is definitely a much better film than Terminator Salvation. And it's slightly better than Terminator 3, in my opinion. But in all honesty, that's not saying that much, because Terminator 3 and Salvation weren't really that great. Genisys is sort of the back to the same format that we're used to with Terminator 1 and 2. It's just a hell of a lot more confusing. It's filled with a hell of a lot more plot holes. I kid you not, guys. I literally stopped watching the movie about halfway in. Like, the movie's going on. I'm sitting there and I'm like, wait a second. This didn't happen now. This timeline's being erased. Wait, why is this character alive? Oh, no, that's right. They just erased that whole timeline. They erased the events of this movie. And that's Terminator Genisys in a nutshell. It's just one giant mess. And this entire universe is now a mess because they had to go and mess with this series and make another movie just to alter the events of the first 4 movies just to make a new movie. And I don't agree with that. I don't like when sequels are able to do that. I like when sequels are able to better and advance the movies that came before them, and Terminator Genisys does not better and advance Terminator 1 and 2. Now, just to make this known, guys, I watched all 4 Terminators before I went in the theater. Terminator 3 and 4 literally do not tie into this movie in any way whatsoever. As I'm watching the first 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, I see Salvation tying into this movie. Then they give the years and everything, and you just can't help but say to yourself, wait, that's not right. Judgment Day didn't happen then, it happened then. And then you realize to yourself, they completely forgot about 3 and 4. And I think they even publicly came out and said that this is a direct sequel to Terminator 2. And right off the bat, I hate when movies do that. I hate when movies say, basically, 3 and 4 did not exist. Halloween did that with Halloween 3, 4, 5, and 6 when H2O was released. It basically told us, yeah, 1 and 2 only happened, 3, 4, 5, and 6 didn't. I hate when series do that, and I hate when that happened in Terminator Genisys, because it makes me feel like, why did I even bother to watch those movies if this movie's now saying they don't exist and they never happened? And that's not the only flaw within the series, because in order to get this movie made and make it different from the first Terminator, they had to completely make a different plot and throw in this whole subplot about an alternate universe, throw in a giant plot twist an hour into the movie that's spoiled in the trailer, and that's what they had to do to make this movie. And that, at the same time, simultaneously deletes or makes the first 2 Terminator movies irrelevant. And that's where I put my foot down. Because when I got out of this movie, I started thinking about everything. And I'm like, wait a second. Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 now never happened according to this movie. And above everything wrong that happened in this movie, Courtney, or giant plot holes, or iffy dialogue, that is the one singular thing that I hated the most about Terminator Genisys, is when they're sitting me down and telling me that these 2 movies did not happen. The first 2 movies did not happen, which are 2 of the greatest action movies of all time. And that's why Terminator Genisys does not work. And that proves that this is just a cash grab to get more people into the movie and just make this series money, a series that should have ended with the release of Terminator 2. That's all I have to say. Now, I know it seems like I've been ranking on this movie, and a little bit earlier on, it felt like I enjoyed moments of this movie. And I did. I did enjoy some moments in this movie. This movie has okay action sequences that really worked for me. Do the thrills or do the suspense ever match or level what I felt as I watched Terminator 2? No, not even close. But there is enjoyment to be had in those sequences. I think there's some good choreography here or there. The fight scenes are well done. I think that the CGI, although it doesn't even compare to Terminator 2, is pretty damn solid for this movie. Yes, the effects are better than that of Terminator, are not better than that of Terminator 2. I don't think they ever will. Like, that movie just has brilliant visual effects that I think was one of the first movies, along with Jurassic Park, to revolutionize the way we look at CGI. And Terminator Genisys just, I mean, the effects are fine. Let's talk about the actors real quick. I'll save Courtney for last. But it's just so great to see Arnold Schwarzenegger back in this film. Not having him in Salvation was probably one of the biggest things that made that not feel like a Terminator movie. It feels like a Terminator movie a lot more with Arnie back in this movie. And I gotta say, I like how they gave him some humorous lines in this movie. I like how, you know, he actually provided a lot of comic relief. And I thought it worked. And the way they explained as to why he ages and as to why he is providing comic relief, I thought was really well done. Emilia Clarke playing Sarah Connor. Is she Linda Hamilton? No. Is she good to look at? Yes. Is she somewhat of a badass? Yes. Is she as badass as Linda Hamilton? Was she able to pull off the range that Linda Hamilton did in the first two? No, but she does a serviceable job. We've only seen two Sarah Connors in the movies, and Linda Hamilton's easily the best, but Emilia Clarke is not that bad. Jason Clarke, I feel, was completely underused in this movie, and he's a good actor. And although I did not like... Butcher me all you want in the comments, I think Christian Bale did not do a good job as John Connor in Salvation, and I did not like Nick Stahl in Terminator 3. I still, to this day, do not think we've had a good reiteration of John Connor in these movies. The best was probably young John Connor in Terminator 2. But he's alright in this movie. He's underused, though. He's absent for about 1 hour of the movie, and I don't know. That's just, I don't know, a problem I had. And last but not least, Courtney in this movie. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I have never hated on Courtney like everyone else, okay? I thought he was fine and Divergent. I didn't see Good Day to Die Hard because I haven't even seen Die Hard 2 yet. But Courtney is not Kyle Reese, okay? He brings this movie down so much it's not even funny. There is one moment he's trying to deliver lines of dialogue when he's reacting to the news that he is the father of John Connor. That's not a spoiler. Everyone should know that. And it just made me cringe. I mean, he's not serious. He's not menacing. He's not convincing. He's just dull, and I don't like him in this role. I would have loved to have seen Anton Yelchin back, because I think he did a better job, and he doesn't even come close to Michael Biehn in Terminator. Not even close. And then it bummed me even more that I went online and I read that Tom Hardy was tested for the role of Kyle Reese, and did not get the part. How do you not give Tom Hardy this role? You give it to Courtney instead. I don't know. That said, guys, I mean, there's enjoyment to be had. There are some great throwbacks and references to the first two Terminator movies. Some great one-liners, again. I mean, I think I've grown used to the fact that they just repeat the same lines over and over again. I'll be back, and, you know, all those lines that, you know, we're used to from the first two movies. That's fine. It's great to see those, at least. It's great to hear the awesome theme song. There are some excellent fight scenes, in my opinion. The Golden Gate bridge scene was pretty awesome. The effects were good in that. There's one awesome scene where it's Arnie versus CGI Arnie, and I thought that scene was going to suck. It's one of the coolest fight scenes of the entire movie, in my opinion, and they actually did it right with CGI Arnold. It looked convincing, at least. A lot better than Terminator Salvation. And ultimately, that is everything that's riding good on this movie. But all of that falls apart because the story is just so muddled, murky, and messy. The three M's. It's just a mess. It negates, it erases 3 and 4 from the series, and it negates the events of 1 and 2, two of the best action movies of all time. And that's where my problems lie with this movie. There's plot holes up the wazoo. The dialogue is I don't know, it's iffy in some moments. It definitely could have been fixed. Courtney just really upset me in most of the scenes in this movie. Just did not play a convincing Kyle Reese at all. I did not care for him. I just didn't buy into him at all in this role. And basically every single thing is spoiled in the trailer. There's one twist, one minute twist that I won't say. It's saved somewhere in the second act of the movie, and that was cool. Everything else is spoiled in the trailer. And that's ultimately why Terminator Genisys didn't all that work for me. In the end, I'm going to give the movie a grade of a 7.5 out of 10 or a C. I think it's slightly better than 3 and 4, but again, that's not saying that much. I just feel that they shouldn't make these movies anymore. I think this should have ended with 2, and I feel there's just no place. By the way, the ending of this movie pissed me off, okay? I hated it. I hated the ending. I hated the damn post-credit scene. There's a post-credit scene. Don't stay for it. Don't watch it. It'll just piss you off even more, because it shows that we're going to get more of these, and I don't want any more, okay? I really don't. I just want this series to end, and I think it should end with this one. I just don't want to see any more. That's how I feel about Terminator Genisys. If you want to watch a good Terminator movie, watch 1 and 2, please. Just do yourself a favor and watch those 2 this weekend. But I would say see it if you've seen all 4. See it on a cheap night, though, or Netflix it, though. There's no need to rush out and see it, because it's not as good as 1 and 2. If it was as good as 1 and 2, I would say go see it right away, but it's not. That being said, guys, what did you think of Terminator Genisys? What do you think of this series as a whole? Let me know down below. And thank you so much for watching my review, guys. I will see you in my next video. Bye.